back to my channel. This video I will be sharing the requirements that we prepared from finding a school to lodging our application. So let's get started. I have a checklist here because I can't memorize every single detail. For the first part, before you will be able to apply for a student visa, you need to find your school. So finding a school is up to you on which province that you would like to pursue your study. And then the second one, you need to decide which course that you will be getting. So my advice, you should be getting a course that is related to your previous study and or your working experience, so that your purpose will be valid and clear, that you'll just continuing your study or improving your degree or your experience, or making an advancement of your education or any skills that you want to develop in the long run. So once you found your school and choose your course, you will need to apply to the school for your intention on studying the specific course. So you need to fill out their application forms and pay the application fees. With that application form, you need to attach some documents, which are, first one is your updated resume or CV, and of course your passport biodata page, and a passport photo of you, original scanned copy of your high school transcript of records, as well as your high school diploma. And the next is scanned original college transcript of records together with the diploma as well. The next one is your English language exam. So it's either IELTS or PTE, or some school doesn't require those language exam, or you need to take their in-house language exam. Or some schools as well, I heard that if you can present a document that your previous school is an English speaking school. So those are the options for the language exam. So that's all the required documents for your school based from our experience. Our school is at Canadastudentvisa College in Ontario because that's where my husband's course is available. We check everywhere and that's the only option that we have. So that's why it is important to you to know which specific course that you need to take. Especially you need to check the curriculum itself so that it's easier for you to determine if that is the course that suits you. So yeah, that's all for the school application. Once you submitted your school application, some school can provide you update of your application within a week or 1 to 2 weeks, but some are within a month. Make sure you allot the time for this application from your planned lodging date of your student visa application. For our case, we got our letter of acceptance from our school within a month. After that, you will need to prepare some more documents for supporting your student visa application. And one more thing, make sure that the school that you're applying is a designated learning institute so that they will be able to provide you your postgraduate work permit after your graduation. So that's the most important thing that you need to check on finding your school. All right. Okay, moving forward. The letter of acceptance from your school consists of all the information about your start of school, your end date, your fees, tuition fees, and deposits that you need to pay on the specific time. So that's why before lodging your student visa, the first requirements is for you to attach the letter of acceptance from your school and the deposit receipt or a full payment receipt together with that. And the next one is the passport. Of course, should be valid for more than 6 months. And with regards to the passport, I suggest you renew your passport if you have less than 5 years or less than 4 years available on your passport, so that you don't have any issues when they issue your visa on your passport. Because you're moving to Canada, so you're not sure how long if you will be updating or renewing your passport on a specific month when you arrive there. So better make sure if you have the chance to renew your passport as soon as possible. Because for our case, our passport is 10 years validity already. It has 8 years left from our validity, so it's enough. So the next one is a copy of your birth certificate and a marriage certificate. So marriage certificate if you are married, yes, so that you have a supporting documents that your surname has changed for ladies. And the next one is a proof of immigration status in your country of residence. Let's say if you are an overseas Filipino worker, and of course you have your own national identification card in your specific country, which our case in Singapore, we have the NRIC. So we send out a photocopy of that one. Prove that we are legally allowed to stay here in Singapore. Yeah, that's ready. And the next one is a notarized copy of your high school and college transcript of records with diploma. Make sure that the transcript of records and diploma that is you're holding is the original copy for you to be able to notarize it. Because here in Singapore, of course, actually everywhere, will not accept if you only holding a certified true copy of your documents. They need to see the original copy for them to notarize that, you know, another copy has been created and it is valid and legal. So here in Singapore, we look for a lawyer to be able to notarize our documents, and we paid almost $200 to notarize those few documents. Yes, it's around 6,000 plus pesos. So the next one is the most important requirement, is the statement of purpose. So the statement of purpose is basically an essay for you to provide an introduction, your main purpose, and your goal for applying for this student visa application. So there's no exact template for this statement of purpose. It's all up to you. But of course, you can ask around if what are the templates that they use for this. So basically, on our case, we just simply make an essay. It's like a letter essay. So of course it includes the addressee, and you know, the first part of the letter is the introduction of ourselves and the main goal of applying this student visa, and what are your future plans and your budget that you allotted on this student visa. Just make sure, don't write that you are planning to have your permanent residence in Canada. Definitely you will get a rejection. Even though we all know, even the visa immigration officer knows that eventually you will be applying a permanent residence. But of course, in this letter, they need to know more or less your plan B on going back to your home country. So in supporting on going back to your home country, you need to have a strong home ties. Yes, that's one of the parts of this SOP, that you need to prove that you have something to go back to the Philippines. So in our case, since we are a family of 3 moving to Canada, our home ties is our condominium property in the Philippines and our parents and relatives living in the Philippines. So that's our home ties that we explained in every detail in our SOP. And of course, with regards to the condominium property, we make sure to provide all the valid documents for them to see that we own a condominium, including the market value of that property. And the next one is the NBI clearance from the Philippines. For us, our NBI clearance is expired, so we renewed our NBI clearance through the Philippine Embassy here in Singapore. They help us to do the thumb printing, and after that, we send it to the Philippines through FedEx, and my dad processed it on our behalf in main NBI office in Manila. Then after that, they send it back to us, the NBI clearance. So yeah, that's how we do it from Singapore. And then the next one is a police certificate from all countries or territories where you live for 6 consecutive months or longer after turning 18-year-old. You need to get a police certificate, of course, a clearance that, you know, you're a good citizen. Before you request your NBI clearance and the police certificate, make sure all of your documents and applications are complete already, because they only accept up to 3 months old NBI clearance. And for the police certificate, here in Singapore, it only valids for 6 months. So better to request these certificates maybe a week or 2 before you lodge your application. And for the next part, this is one of the biggest requirements as well, is the proof of sufficient funds. Of course, this proof of funds, there are a lot of ways to be able to get these and provide with your student visa application. The first one, of course, your own personal bank. You need to provide your bank statement for at least 3 to 6 months. But our agency advises us to provide at least 6 months of bank statement, having that amount of money in your bank account. And the second one is a bank certificate, is for you to prove that you have this bank account for a longer period of time. And of course, if you have a bulk deposit on your account, it's fine. Definitely it's fine, but you need to provide a valid explanation attached to that bank certificate and bank statement, explaining where did you get that. For instance, you sold your car. Of course, you will definitely have a bulk deposit on your bank account. So when explaining that, you need to attach an evidence that you sold the car with that amount has been reflected to your bank account. So that's one of the examples. And another option, if your parents are sponsoring your study in Canada, you need to provide your parents' income and employment details on your student visa application. The next option, if your parents own a business or a part of a business, it's also accepted. You need to provide the notarized copy of business registration, license indicating their shares in the business tax assessment, and audited financial statement. Additionally, if you are employed while applying your student visa, you can provide your original letter of employment, including those important details like the employee's name and address, telephone, email, date of hire, position, your current salary, and any bonuses that you are getting. Also, your tax, notice of assessment or income tax for the past 2 years. So in our case here in Singapore, we provided our notice of assessment, our tax information for the past 2 years. And the last option, if you are receiving any funding from a school in Canada or any other organization, an original letter containing details of the funding you are to receive each year of your proposed course of study. So if someone like an organization or maybe you have a scholarship program that they will be the one paying for your study. So that's the only thing you need to include in your application. So when it comes to sponsoring, not only your parents are allowed to sponsor you. If you have an auntie or uncle or your grandparents or even your brothers and sisters can sponsor you, as long as you can provide all those documents that needed to support your proof of funds. That's the options for the proof of sufficient funds that you need to present together with your student visa application. And the next one, of course, I mentioned before, if you have an assets, like you have properties, house and lot properties or lot properties, or your condominium properties. For our case, we presented our contract to sell document, but our agency advised us to get a valuation report from a property appraisal company because we don't have the title yet because it's still in the process, so we need to provide a valid evidence that that property is ours. So some people doesn't need to provide a valuation report. Some people just attach their contract to sell documents and other receipts that they have from their property. So you have two options. For our case, we included the contract to sell and the valuation report. Both is enough. Either one of them is enough depending on the immigration officer. My advice, better to include everything, especially if you have a certificate of title, then it's enough. But if you have the contract to sell, my suggestion, you can just add up the valuation report, or if your contract to sell have the sufficient information that you need that the visa immigration officer will accept, then it should be fine. Because whenever you are providing a required documents or presenting yourself, you need to think out of the box. You need to put yourself on the immigration officer's shoes on how she or he will inspect or study or read your documents. Also, there are supporting documents that you can provide to support your proof of fund. Let's say if you will be presenting your own personal account, your own personal bank accounts, then supporting documents like stocks investment, a Bitcoin investment. For our case, we included our call financial certificate. We requested the call financial certificate through their online, and we choose to have a soft copy. Then it should be enough. And of course, you need to update your resume or CV when you're attaching in your student visa application. And of course, all the certificate of employment that you have for your past and current jobs with the proper template. This part, requesting a certificate of employment, will be a bit harder because some companies doesn't accept those templates. So my advice is you create your own template indicating all those information that you want them to fill it out. So better to write that and then send it to your HR department and ask them for help to fill it out for you. Because if you just request them that, oh, I need this information, this and this and this and this, they will definitely reject you. That, oh, so sorry, we don't provide this customized template. Do you have your own, so that we can just fill it up, or maybe we can study about it, something like that. So better to prepare that before requesting to your HR so that they will have a better understanding. And of course, provide your purpose. Why do you need this standard template for your certificate of employment? Better make sure to have all those original copies with you already. So whenever you need it in the future, at least you have your complete documents with you. So that's my advice, guys. These advices are all based from our personal experience, and I'm telling you, there's a lot of hiccups, headache, stress talking to each and every organization on getting your documents. You need to have a patience, a very long patience. And the next one is insurance policy. So insurance policy is one of the important things for the immigration officer to see, because this document will provide an idea that whatever happens to you, Canada will not be burdened by you. In our case, we attach our AIA insurance certificate policy for the three of us. But if you don't have, then I think it should be fine. But if you have, better to attach. Don't forget that. Many people are asking if we still need to submit an IELTS on applying for a student visa. Actually, for our case, no. We only provide our language exam to the school, which is the PTE academic language exam. In our case, we didn't book another IELTS exam. We just presented the PTE exam that we have. But for other people, I don't think that they presented additional IELTS or PTE exam if they took the language exam from their school. That's the one that they attach to the student visa application. That's what I observe and notice from other people's applications. And the next documents that I suggest for you to include is your SSS, Pag-ibig, and PhilHealth contributions. Why? Because this will also help you from your home ties. For our case, we are a family of 3 applying on one application. So our home ties is kind of like, not that strong. We only have a property in the Philippines and parents and relatives in the Philippines. And then providing this SSS, Pag-ibig, and PhilHealth forms will definitely help you. It only proves that you're still attached to your home country, that you are paying your due fees as a citizen in your country. That's an optional, of course, but add up as supporting documents for your home ties. So because other people doesn't have a problem with home ties, because some people will apply first for a student visa and then their home ties on that application will be their children or their spouse. They will just apply additional dependents for their spouse and child after they got approval for a few months after that. So those were the options for the home ties. And lastly, of course, your IMM forms. For our case, we are not familiar on what are the forms that we need to fill out. That is why our agent is very helpful for us, because they will just give us the forms that we need to fill out and they will double check how did we fill out those application forms. So this IMM forms is for the student visa application. The first form is IMM 1294E application form. Of course, these are all your personal details and contact details and everything. And the next one is IMM 5257B1 travel. So this application form is for the student to indicate all the travels that he did for the past 5 years. For our case, my husband filled out this travel application form indicating all the travels we made outside Singapore and outside Philippines. I know you guys have a question. For OFW, for us here in Singapore, do we need to include all the visits that we did back to the Philippines? Yes, we did. So the next form is IMM 5645E family. This one, we also indicated all the travels we made without indicating the travel back to our home country, which is the Philippines. And he included a supplementary information form travels. That's the name of the form, supplementary information form travels. This form, he included all the visits that he did, all the travel back to our home country, which is in the Philippines. So that's all the requirements for applying for the student visa application, from finding a school to lodging your visa application. So thank you so much for watching, and I will definitely upload more information about how we process our documents and finding a place in Canada. Those stuff I will be sharing for the next upcoming videos, so watch out for it, and if you're interested, please watch it. And lastly, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so that you'll get notification whenever I post a new video. I'll see you on the next one. Bye! Mwah.